What's good, y'all? You dub back here again here in 2019. Let's get it. Bring you more fresh new content. Now, just an FYI, a public service announcement to this channel. There will be a lot of top 5 content coming out uh, within the next foreseeable future. Now, that does not mean that you won't have more of your favorite type of videos. Uh, but this is the unexpected wonder. I do all kinds of things, and I'm looking to diversify continuously and look for new avenues where to go to. Plus, I love talking about top 5 and top 10 things, and I mean, I'm a big fan of, for example, Top 10 Nerd. There's this new channel I found out, Top 5 Scariest. They're really good. Now I love those. I love those lists. Sometimes, a lot of times I agree. Sometimes I disagree with some of their notions. So just letting y'all know. But let's get into it. The top 5 worst powers to have. Now I've seen this kind of list done by a number of people, and normally what you see is like people like, well, this is how it would not realistically work in the world, or you'll see it's like, uh, you'll see personal preference. Okay, then the third is you'll see how the users use it in the world. As in the particular world, whether it be a story, series, whatever the case may be. In this video, we're not dealing with that. We're talking about if just an average person in our world had these abilities. That's how we're gonna get down in these videos. The worst powers to actually have, and this list will surprise you, guaranteed. Coming in number 5, telepathy, mind reading. Now, you've heard it been said. I'm pretty sure you've thought at one time, like, man, if I could read people's minds. You really want to read people's minds. Because you don't want to read the nasty, potentially sick thoughts that people have. Or the dumbass thoughts that people be having going on in their head. If you have, especially if you have a brittle ego, if you have an inferiority complex, if you are comparing yourself, you don't want to know. And sometimes now on the beneficial side, some of the stuff may surprise you. But okay, let's say you know what someone is thinking. How is it going to benefit you and benefit others? Here's another thing. What if you don't know how to turn it off initially? Because people think, they see telepathy, they're like, ooh, that would be great to have. I can read. What if you're hearing all the thoughts around you simultaneously? And you have to hone in. Do you know how that could drive you mentally unstable, mental instability? Okay. The very fact of how scary that could be. You don't know if you have schizophrenia potentially. That could lead to a legitimate mental illness. Reading people's thoughts, reading their private thoughts, invasion of privacy much? Also, even if you read their thoughts, you may misinterpret what they think, what that those people think because of your perspective. So it actually will be way worse than you would anticipate it initially being. Coming in at number 4, phasing. Now, phasing, it sounds great. People like, oh, I'd be able to sneak it. When you were, I'm pretty sure, like teenage boys and teenage girls, for example, sneak into the other's locker room or whatever, even though it's not cracked up to what you think. You might not want to do that. You can listen in. You could find yourself in very compromising situations that you don't want to be. Lack of control. Okay, what if you're accidentally, like, you lean up against a wall and you fall through that wall? Okay, what if you try to phase and you get stuck in between walls? Potentially kill you. What if you phase through another person? So lack of physical contact, excuse me. If you really think about it, also, how are you going to find out this ability? Okay? And what if it doesn't work all the time? You master it and then it doesn't always work. So you think I'm going to be good and you crash into something and hurt yourself. This is just all kinds of bad. There's nothing. All right, what if you phase into the ground? Like, this is just bad all the way around. It is not an ability that you want. Moving on to number 3. Kinetic energy. Now, this is made famous by my dog, Gambit. One of all-time favorite X-Men for many of us. But here's the thing. Charging things with kinetic energy. Now, for those who don't know what kinetic energy, I'm going to get into a little bit of physics for you. Okay? Kinetic energy is active energy. It is making usage of partial, if not all, of the latent, what we call potential energy, energy at rest. So now the energy acts. Okay, every object has potential energy waiting to be unleashed. Number one, I could think of combustion. All right, I mean, you see what Gambit, he makes things can explode. Now he can control it very well, but if you touch something, it could explode. You touch something. Let's say there was a car parked. You lean against that car starts to move. Okay. Now this could be very helpful, but this could be very, very bad. What if you start having like spasms? All right, you can't control your body. You start having seizures. What if something like you're in the middle of sex and you don't know how to stop yourself? All right. What if your body, instead of it being super speed breaking that, what if kinetic energy starts debilitating your muscles, making your bones brittle, shooting your nerves? What if you start developing insanity, really, because your mind is all over the place? You could say, well, how the hell would it affect your mental state? Kinetic energy, brain signals, shooting electricity at an all-time high rate. It may make abnormal changes to the mental state, okay, to your brain capacity. And your mind might be good, but your brain might be now hardwired differently. Okay. um I mean, you could say, weren't phasing and telepathy worse? Those are more passive. This one is, you could potentially cause a lot of damage and destruction. What if you doggone went to punch somebody and all of a sudden you get a spark of kinetic energy and literally snap somebody's neck with a punch, or punch that person through a brick wall, or a concrete wall or something? What if you punch somebody and cave in their chest, or punch through the chest? Now you marking folks out here. There's a lot of potentially bad that you don't want, and most people cannot handle that kind of power. Coming in number 2, life essence drain. Now you see this with people. The best, most prime example is Rogue. Okay, dude. If you be able to drain a life essence. Now with Rogue, a lot of times it was also draining their powers and abilities as well. But think about it, the life essence. Dude, no physical contact really. No hugging, kissing, embracing really, depending on how bad it is. Sex would be difficult to have, okay? I mean, just it depends on how bad it is, because your area of effect, you might have to be quarantined. Okay? You might doggone. I mean, there is the potential that you could feed and it could boost your, more eternal youth. You have those effects potentially in some cases, but this one is really bad because physical intimacy, physical touch. Goodbye to sports. Goodbye to a lot of things that you can possibly be doing in life. It would suck, man. You would be pretty much lonely. Now, for some people, that's not bad. But for almost any occupation that you do, you got to interact with people. So that's just not good. It's not good at all. And how would that affect a child if you were a mom, for example? Like giving birth? I don't know. Coming in at the worst power to have, transfiguration. Now, you may thinking, hold on, shapeshifting? We talking about shapeshifting? We talking about metamorphosis? No, we're not talking about. I mean, metamorphosis, it depends. Shapeshifting, I mean, you have shapeshifters. You can have control. You can have someone like Mystique. But no, no, no. I'm talking about transfiguration. I'm talking about people like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I'm talking about the classic werewolf Lycan where you transform at a full moon. Uncontrollable. Multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia off the top of my head. Okay, potential bipolarism. You have lack of control. The original Hulk, the original Incredible Hulk. Okay, you transform and it's not in your control. That would suck. Complete potential mood swings on complete neurosis, neurotic behavior. Okay, you are now someone else. You end up somewhere else and you don't even realize who you are. Like the initial, even though this is different, think of Fight Club. You ever watch Fight Club? Brad Pitt played like Tyler Durham, and the guy was doing it the entire time, but he didn't realize it was him who was doing all of this. He thought he had an alter ego. But that's just the mild version. This you actually transform into another creature or person. That's scary. You try to come home and you get locked out. You late to work. This would be terrible. This would ruin your life. All right. That's why it's the worst thing to have. It would be completely hell on earth. Dude, it would not be good. It would not be good. These powers are not worth it, ladies and gentlemen. Unexpected Wonder, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts. What is your list of the top 5 worst powers that you can possibly possess? All right, y'all. Till next time, have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace. And there will be a lot more to come.